This story is another one that takes place in the Mexico's metro, which, from what I've read, the entire network system is haunted from the roaming Aztec warriors and even ghosts that drifted in from the neighboring graveyard. This story takes place on the 7 line or the orange line, and the end of the line is called Barranca del Muerto. So the number 7 line or the orange line, and it takes place at the very end, last stop, which is Barranca del Muerto, or the ravine or gully of the dead. So why was it called that? It's because this line was built on a mass graveyard, and not just any mass graveyard, a military graveyard. It was just a trench filled with bodies of those that were killed during the Mexican Revolution. So of course, there would be disgruntled spirits. Now, to begin this story, it starts at the early morning hours, so early that the person that this story happened to was still on the train from the night before, on the last train stop, on the last train, the last stop, and the last person. So this dude had been on the train so long that it was now morning. You know, the train was going in for the night, stopping, switching guard, whatever, right? Switching conductor. This lone man on the train awakens from a deep sleep when the train suddenly stops. When he looked around, he noticed that he was alone, or so he thought. The sudden stop of the train indicated that it was at its final stop for the night. He proceeded to the exit and got off the train and wandered onto the tracks where he witnessed a fight between two men, and it looked like the shorter of the two was losing. So he gets there, gets off the train, looks around. He's like, well, I got to follow the tracks to get out of this area, get back to where I'm going, right? He sees off in the distance 2 drunks fighting. He's like, man, that little dude's getting his ass whooped. So he went and tried to stop this fight to separate the two and calm the situation down. So he's like, man, I don't want to watch a guy get killed. Let me go stop this real quick. When he got closer, he realized one thing. This was not an ordinary fight. The taller man was biting down on the other guy's neck. He stopped, saw all the blood, which was just flowing out of the guy's neck. He saw this and yelled, vampire, and turned and ran as fast as he could all the way to the nearest police station. He gets there, he's out of breath, and he tries to explain there's a vampire in the train tracks killing someone. The cops' reaction is nothing but ridicule. They're like, dude, you're drunk. There's nothing there. Vampires don't exist, right? So what came from this is nothing, and that's it. That's the story. So that's how this legend got started. Some guy got off the train, went over there. Vampire. They're like, no, you're dumb. Go away. Don't waste our time. And like I said, it could have been a vampire. It could have been anything. It could have just been a fight. Someone crazy bit him. You know, we've had that happen in Florida. Some say this legend was a real story that was just misconstrued. It was just a fight between 2 drunks, and the neck biting was just part of the fight. Like I said, it's happened in Florida. Others say this is just one of those stories that they use to keep the children and young adults aware of their surroundings through scare tactics, like La Mano Peluda or La Llorona. And like I said, Mexicans are not Mexicans, just the Hispanic culture is very guilty of this. They like to control through fear. I've been told about La Mano Peluda, La Llorona, things like that. Why? Don't go out at night. Stay close by. Don't get out of bed. La Mano Peluda will grab you from under your bed. I always talk about this one because this traumatized me as a child. The disembodied hand that would grab you from under your bed and take you away if you got out of bed in the middle of the night. I talk about that way too much. I think like every 3rd episode I bring it up. It's a traumatic thing for me, okay? Both are reasonable to believe, jumping to conclusions, or a teenager story that fell asleep and got lost on the last train. But one thing is certain, that the threat of a vampire waiting for someone at the end of the line is enough to keep anyone alert and awake. Yeah, so just the thought of there could be something down there is enough to keep me awake. I'll be like, nope, I gotta get off. So the next one isn't really scary. So the next one up is another metro. It's not really scary, but it is a ghost sighting. And this one is over the Aztec warrior that I mentioned in the above story, right? and the story before this. This is now the blue line in Mexico. This line goes through the heart of Mexico City. But 500 years ago, it would have been the heart of Tenochtitlan, the famed city of the Aztecs. On this line, many ghosts and things that go bump in the night have been spotted at both the Pino Suarez station and the Zocalo station, and the tunnels in between. The most persistent of these would be the Aztec Man. Now, there is not just one sighting, but many with a wide variation of the way they appear, which might indicate that there might be more